The deep state is real, and its name is America. Let us begin, not at Mar-a-Lago, not at Rikers Island, not even at the Kremlin, but in 1959, in the shadowed corridors of Langley, Virginia. The CIA, under Allen Dulles, yes, that Allen Dulles, was not merely an intelligence agency. It was an empire. It was a Vatican of secrets, where democracy went to be reinterpreted, rewritten, and sometimes quietly erased. Read on. In that same year, with a geopolitical calculus colder than a Siberian night, Dulles launched Operation Mustang. The mission, to spirit away the young 14th Dalai Lama, fleeing the People's Liberation Army like a deer escaping wolves. But make no mistake, this was not an act of spiritual mercy. This was a tactical maneuver, a PR stunt in the ideological war against communism. The CIA didn't rescue the Dalai Lama out of love. They airlifted him out of strategy, out of optics. The face of Tibetan Buddhism was transformed into a weapon against Mao. Pin that to your conspiracy board with red thread, because we're just getting started. At the time, Allen Dulles' best friend was Henry Luce, who started Time magazine. Luce and Dulles agreed that there needed to be a way to create a unique American, a patriotic American, in the face of Chinese communism. Henry Luce's wife founded the Tibetan Studies at Columbia University. When I asked Robert Thurman, Uma's dad, of Tibet House what the Chinese position was on Tibet during the production of a documentary I produced and directed, he said, "I wouldn't be trusting anything the Chinese say." I found that response to be abrupt and dismissive given the facts I had of Dulles, Luce, the CIA, and Tibet Studies Department at Columbia University. Allen Dulles, the same man who signed off on the overthrow of Iran's Mossadegh and the coup in Guatemala, also had a hand. Some whisper more than that, in the most grotesque open wound in American history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. He sat on the Warren Commission, literally helping to investigate the crime he may have orchestrated. That's like asking the arsonist to investigate the fire. Who followed in the oily footprints of this clandestine legacy. Enter James Comey. As a senior research scholar at Columbia Law School, he was on the board of directors of HSBC Holdings until July 2013. Yes, I know, the media love and hate him. But let's not forget, as FBI director, he helped fine-tune the expansion of the surveillance state hand in hand with Robert Mueller after 9/11, reforging Dulles' machine with digital sinew. Comey is not a savior. He's continuity, a bridge between analog secrecy and biometric tyranny, and apparently not a real friend of women in power. But where does this leave Martha Stewart? Here's a woman who committed a crime so minor you'd need a microscope to find it, a lie about a stock tip. Yet she was made a symbol. Why? Because she was independent, female, wealthy, and not playing by the club's rules. She went to prison, not because of insider trading, but because she embarrassed the invisible hand that punishes disobedience and club rules. The lead prosecutor was James Comey, a young daw looking to make a name for himself. As for Hillary Clinton, she got the Martha Stewart treatment on steroids with investigations that never revealed a crime but revealed intent to destroy her. Not because she was corrupt, but because she wasn't controllable. And then came Trump. The deep state didn't fear Trump, they used him. He was the chaos agent, the fool king, a reality TV star injected into the bloodstream of democracy like a virus. He broke the glass so the state could rescue us from it. Every norm he shattered became a rationale for further entrenchment of the surveillance and intelligence superstructure. A man whose very existence proved that democracy had become a game show, and the prize wasn't a job, but a throne. From Allen Dulles to Donald Trump, the arc is not accidental. It is deliberate. It is systemic. A Buddhist monk turned into a CIA mascot. A president shot in broad daylight. A home design mogul jailed. A secretary of state hounded. A democracy thrown to a game show host like meat to a tiger. This is not a conspiracy. This is a history. This is an America created by the John Birch Society and Allen Dulles. The deep state does not wear cloaks or huddle in candlelit rooms. It wears Brooks Brothers. It smiles on MSNBC. It leaks to Politico and grooms candidates at Yale. It exiled the Dalai Lama. It erased JFK. It humiliated Martha Stewart. It weaponized Hillary's ambition. And it handed the keys to Donald Trump. To what end? That, my friends, is still the question. They didn't kill Kennedy for the Bay of Pigs. They killed him for what came after. JFK inherited a Cold War machine, already grinding the gears of global domination. When the Bay of Pigs invasion failed spectacularly in 1961, Kennedy took responsibility, but he never forgave the CIA, especially Allen Dulles. Kennedy fired Dulles. That alone made him an enemy of the state within the state. But Kennedy didn't stop there. Behind closed doors and in letters now declassified, JFK reached out to Khrushchev, proposing joint efforts on nuclear disarmament and even sharing UFO intelligence. Kennedy wanted transparency, peace, and an end to the Cold War in a generation. He sent 13 letters without CIA permission to Khrushchev. That made JFK dangerous, not to the Soviets, but to our own war economy. The CIA thrived in darkness, and Kennedy wanted light. He sought to dismantle the rationale for the arms race. On November 22, 1963, that vision was silenced, and the man Kennedy fired, Allen Dulles, was placed on the Warren Commission to help cover the real crime, not just the murder of a president, but the assassination of a different future. So when people say deep state, I'll paraphrase Pee Wee Herman, there are things you might not want to know. Today we see the slow corrosive effects of a secret society and John Birchers. Thank you for listening, and use your own judgment and research to learn more about the deep state.
Thanks for watching, reading, or listening to Carl's Mind Chimes. Making Mind Chimes takes hard work. Your subscription helps support Carl's obsession, so thank you.